You're good.
All right, we're back. Terry and Gary's Low Expectations podcast, episode 40. And today we have two amazing women, Power Rangers, Nakia Burrise and Sutherland. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having us.
Great, thank you. Terry made it on time today. So how you doing, Terry?
Just a tad bit late. Doing great. And Gary, you?
Oh, exceptionally well. Thank you.
Awesome.
How did your names rhyme? Terry and Gary. That's great.
Actually, his name is Gerald, but he changed it just so
he knows my name.
So yeah.
Cool.
I wasn't
Rhino
going
didn't rhyme, so
yeah.
All right, there you go.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
I said I wasn't going to change it to Harold, so he figured he'd change it to Gary. So
Oh.
It's gonna be one bad joke after another, isn't it?
Right. I've got an enormous amount of dad jokes too. So anytime you want me to break into those, I can.
That's 50% of our show. So,
right.
So let's start off talking about your guys' show. You have a new show called Super Chat with Kat and Nakia. What brought this guy about for you guys?
Well, we have a YouTube channel called Power Rangers Playback, and that came about when we were at a con in Scotland, and we were right next to I always forget their name. Troy Baker and Nolan, and they're voiceover actors, and they were best friends at the time. And they just had this line, and I didn't know that they were voiceover or what they had done, but we discovered that they had a YouTube channel where they play video games, and we were like, oh my gosh, we should do a YouTube channel. And so we sat there and we thought about, well, what would we do? And so what are we asked all the time, which our fans always ask us about what we were doing in episode 399 on Power Rangers. And yes. So we were like, let's watch our episodes and other episodes on Power Rangers. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what we were thinking during that time, what we were doing. And so we start off with Power Rangers Playback. And now we have, besides watching playback episodes, we have a game show, we have a cook-off, we have live guests. And then from there, we started Super Chat, and I'll let Kat explain that one.
We did. We have skits too. We started
skits too.
And that was funny how that all came about, because we had originally just wanted to watch our episodes and do like a commentary on it, and we started getting copyright claims. So we had to think a little bit out of the box and come up with new content, and it's actually turned out to be a blessing because our fans love all the different elements of our show now. And I listen to a lot of podcasts, and so I said to Kia, we talk all the time about all kinds of things, and we both have very unique perspectives. I'm not from this country. She's
I'm not from this planet. I'm from Mars.
But anyway, we just thought people might we could talk about life. We can talk about life beyond Power Rangers and kind of expand our audience beyond the Power Ranger world, and just two friends that love each other and are going through life together, and kind of give that perspective. So we came up with, on our YouTube channel, we do this little Super Chat dance, and we thought, well, superheroes that chat, we can kind of come up with that. We do have the dance, so we just thought we'll call it Super Chat with Kat and Nakia, and that's kind of how it evolved. And it's been really well received. We've been really happy with it. I think it's going to appeal to and bring more women into our lives, because we have a very male heavy fandom with Power Rangers. So we just want to reach more people and make people happy. That's our goal.
Yeah, Power Rangers has a huge fandom. I mean, so you think a mass majority of it is male oriented then?
Yeah. Yes. Well, when we look at our our insights on our fan pages, the majority, I would say probably 75 to 80% of our audience is male, between the ages of like 29 to 50. Mm-hmm. And then we have females too, but it's very male heavy, I would say. So we would like to expand and to reach more women too. So.
And we'd also like to, Power Ranger Playback is about Power Rangers and different elements of Power Rangers, Power Ranger trivia, skits, and so forth. And our podcast focuses more on us as people, our lives, as mothers, as friends, you know, the trials that we go through. I mean, we talk from the heart, because I think that's what misses, it's missed a lot in this industry, where people share their honesty about their weight issues, or how they felt when they went in on an audition or continued auditions, you know, just the truth.
Yeah.
I see Power Rangers as being a real tight knit family. We've had several Power Rangers at the show, and Nakia included, and it seems like you guys' friendship just supersedes all of the other friendships in the in the Power Ranger community. So how did that come about for you guys? Did you guys hit it off right away, or did it take a little time, or?
No, we did connect immediately. I was in Nakia's screen test when she first was auditioning for the show, and there was 3 girls that it was in the final screen test, and her and I we had great chemistry on camera, and I just immediately liked her, and you know, being the only 2 girls on the show, I think that we really connected that way. And I was relatively new to the show when Nakia came on, and I think I'd only been on maybe 3 months before her, maybe a little bit more.
I think like 6
months before. So I was still pretty new to it as well. And we just became the best of friends. And then when we left the show, I stalked her. So you know, we've been through all these different stages of life together. You know, I was there when she had her first child.
I was there when she had yours.
Yeah, she was there for mine. We've just been at every major stage of each other's life, and I wouldn't want to live without her. I can't imagine what I'd live without her.
Same here. We're literally 3 days apart, born the same year. So you know, that's kind of says something too. We've just I don't know, we've just hit it off. And you know, the interesting thing, I won't say funny, the interesting thing is we've heard about, you know, other girls on Power Rangers, and not too many had that relationship. Sierra and Emma are the only ones. That's not Christina. Christina are the only ones that I know of that had really tight friendship and continue to have that friendship. Sometimes, you know, it could be very chaotic on set, and there's competitive nature between girls, but it wasn't like that with us.
No,
I mean, because we look so much alike.
It's been very challenging because we go out for the same roles all the time.
Speaking of first children, we had Sierra and Monroe too before, and just a wonderful girl. And I heard she's going to have her first child here like any day now. So congratulations to her. So
yes, she's a little cutie pie, and it's been fun watching her. So I was in New Zealand with her when we filmed the Legacy episode, and you know, she was still such a young, like, little single girl, and you know, dating different people, and I was talking to her about, you know, do you think you'll ever have kids? And it now, just like cutting forward 4 years, she's like completely in love and settled down and having a baby, and it's just cute watching her grow up.
So. I think Power Rangers does an amazing job of vetting their superstars here, because everyone I've met so far, you guys have been just great.
Oh, thank you.
We have a pretty good group of people. I think we are really a family. Yeah. And it's most of the Rangers that I've met, like moving, you know, we meet a lot of them now because it's still going. They're all pretty good people. There's very few that I would say, you know.
There are a couple in the bunch.
There are a couple.
What now? Yes. Did I even say what now? But for the most part, 90% of them are great.
Yes.
That's a pretty good percentage.
Yes.
How is that in wrestling, Terry? About the same? About 90%?
No, we hate each other. We'll go out afterwards and drink together. That's the only thing that brings us together is beer.
Some of the Power Rangers like that too.
No, I'm kidding. A lot of people, a lot of guys and girls get along in wrestling, you know. So yeah, it's probably about the same, about 90%. But you have people, and it's very competitive. I think it's more a team effort now than back then, because back in the day, everybody was worried about their spot, so they would, you know, hold people down, even if they were past their prime. So you know, a lot of them, it was unfortunate because at the end of the day, it hurt business more than it helped business. So.
I used to be an avid watcher.
Oh, really?
WWE. Oh my gosh! When I was younger, I have two brothers, and
Okay.
so every Saturday,
Did
the
you have a favorite?
weekend, I don't know, Hulk Hogan. We used
Yeah.
to watch Hulk Hogan.
That's his favorite.
Yeah, we used to watch Hulk Hogan all the time. And we would pretend to be the wrestlers and
He
then
was
wrestle each
such
other.
a great personality. Like he really took wrestling to a different level, I think.
Right.
Like that was superstars. Like Hulk and what was his name? Andre the Giant.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about like YouTube. You can there's a lot of footage you didn't see from the 70s and early 80s and before it hit that first boom. And you can go back and watch guys like Andre the Giant. And when I was growing up, I watched Andre the Giant, but it was in the late 80s. And you know, when he was younger, boy, he could move like a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
So he was a lot leaner and stuff. But yeah, and watching some of the old footage and some of the stuff he used to do, it just blew me away. So that's a great thing about YouTube and you know, with wrestling. So
Yeah.
So do you guys, as far as when you guys get, like he was saying, the newer generation stuff, do you guys counsel the newer generation at all, or do they ask you for advice about being on Power Rangers and what to expect, or do you guys kind of keep up with it at all, or is it?
Well, I don't keep up with it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I watched one of the newer episodes because she had gone back, and I had some friends that had gone back, so I watched that episode. But once I left the show, and because of the way that we left the show, I was like, yeah, that's it for me. I was like, that's a wrap. Peace, love you, mean it. And then I didn't watch anything else afterwards until she had gone back. And then when my boys, you know, a few years back when I think it was Power Rangers Samurai, I showed my boys like a little bit of Power Rangers just so that they could get a feel. They weren't feeling it at the time. But no, and they don't normally ask for anything. But what we've learned, and just in having some of we just had a newer Ranger on, one that's just finished his season, Beast Morphers, how much they look up to the original Rangers, the Rangers from like the 90s. Like he was in such awe of Austin, which was just, it was so adorable. Cute. Yeah, like they're set. Yeah, like sometimes you forget that people watched you. They're Rangers. They're in their 20s now. So that's when, you know, we were on the show 25 years ago. So they actually watched our episodes growing up.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to see their expressions and to see what they think about the earlier generation. Yeah.
It's kind of neat though. I mean, it's going to go on forever. It seems like. So, I mean, I don't see an end in sight. They're gonna keep going no matter what.
Working.
Yeah.
So, you guys plan on hopefully getting to go into more future episodes? Is that something that you keep open, your options open for? Or?
Well, you know, I always hope that they'll bring people back and kind of honor their character, but that wasn't what it was when I went back. It was really just like we were just a little flavoring in the mix, and they didn't really do anything with our characters or have any connection to our storyline or anything. So I think if I was to go back, I would want it to be more like it's for Kat, like for my character. Or I'm a mentor or a mother or something to the younger Rangers. I just think I don't really think I want to do another cameo kind of.
Right. So I don't follow it as that much. I mean, I watched it when my boys were younger, Mighty Morphin and Turbo and stuff. But is it like a universe, like a multiverse, like the Marvel universe is? So you guys are always going to exist in that universe? Okay.
So when Boom Comics started doing the comics, they opened up all this kind of fan fiction ideas that people had always wondered, like what if Tommy had not returned good, you know, what if Jason and Trini were together, like they kind of explore all these different ideas and put it in the comics, and they've combined like Nakia's storyline in the comics. She is Time Force. Time Force. So the Zeo and Time Force, like
and Mighty Morphin.
And so they've kind of blending them together and having different universes, I guess. So I think that they have tried to somewhat incorporate that into the show when they do these legacy episodes.
Right.
So yeah, I think they could do a lot more with it, but
it seems like they should, because as far as I see from fans, the Mighty Morphin, the Turbo, the Zeo, that's where everyone seems, their fandom seems to come from. It seems like those are the main, the main strong points, and they don't do enough with them anymore. So
I know, it's funny because when at conventions and stuff, it's always the little kids, isn't it?
Yeah.
The little ones that come up to us and we say, "What's your favorite episode?" And they always say like Zeo or Mighty Morphin, or they don't say,
Beast Morphers.
And
Right.
I mean, it's surprising to me, but maybe that'll change now because it's not on Netflix anymore. Maybe that will change. But
Yeah.
do you think there's been a shift in how it's shot, how it's filmed, the storylines, or do you think it's more campy, less campy? Do you think, what do you think the problem is as far as now goes, as far as fans really going back towards the earlier years and not more recent ones?
The nostalgia of the the original.
Mm-hmm.
I think in most television shows or genres and so forth, when you always go back to the original and you compare everything to the original. And unfortunately, I don't watch the new episodes. I watched obviously Sierra's, which was newer. When we do the review, then we get to, we're exposed to the new ones. So in seeing the new ones, I thought I didn't understand. There were a lot of things I didn't understand. Their power cards, they have like, I didn't understand. Sierra said like 50 power cards. They put a card inside their morpher and then they get the help from something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was harder for me to follow. Like, I think I would have to watch more than one episode in order to understand. But, everybody has their own favorites. I think that the most popular is Mighty Morphin. I think Time Force is pretty popular as well.
Yeah.
I also think though that it's the reason that it maybe isn't clicking as much is that in the earlier seasons there was a lot more character development. People got attached to the characters, not the color. Yeah, and I think once we left and they started changing it every season, people didn't have as much invested in the show. It was more about selling the toys.
Yeah. Speaking of toys, do you guys collect your own toys?
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't that, it's cool to have an action figure of yourself?
Yeah, I have an action figure and a Barbie doll. So
yeah,
I have them both. I voice the character of Nikki in Barbie's Life in the Dream House. So I get to say I am a Barbie doll and I am an action figure.
You're a Disney princess.
Thank you. Huh?
You're a Disney princess.
Yeah. I'll roll with that.
Yeah. Just like Terry.
Right. I always wanted my my princess action figure. Well, not action figure.
You could pull that off.
Gary and I both. We just had
Mine's not very attractive.
No, I noticed that in wrestling too. He said, there was more character development, and I think probably about 15 years ago, it seemed like they started moving angles and matches quicker. And if you missed a couple weeks, you'd be totally out of the loop, and if you're a fan tuning in, you're like, wait, what happened here and what happened there? And sometimes they'll start something, they won't finish it. And it's not because of an injury. And I think a lot of fans, it turns them away. Like back, in the late 80s and the 90s, they would nurse something and you'd learn about that wrestler and that wrestler's personality or character.
Yeah.
And it was fun and it was easier to follow, and I think, I don't know if it's writers or the bookers I don't know what their thought process was let's hurry up and throw this out there and hopefully it'll stick. Maybe that was but it sometimes it just, you tune in and you're like, wait, I can't catch up with this, so I'm not going to watch it next week. So I think it hurts the product more than it helps the product.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I think it's attention span too. I think they try to shoot stuff off so quick because kids just don't, have the time or want to watch something to develop anything. They just want, now.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of harder to make the storyline longer and drawn out to where you actually get to know the characters or the wrestlers or something. I think it hurts in the long run, I believe, but I think that's sort of, people don't know how to watch TV anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah, the reason. Yeah.
They want to stream everything right now and get it done.
That's true.
Yeah, you get gratification.
That's so true. Our patience level has definitely. It's like, yeah, I actually will wait until a whole season is done so that I can watch.
I know
all of the
I've
episodes.
done that too. I don't want to wait till the end. I don't want to wait till next week. Game of Thrones drove me crazy with that.
Yeah.
I'll be like, they've left me on a cliffhanger. I have to wait a whole week.
Then you got to watch the last 2 or 3 episodes before the next one comes out, so you remember what happened last year.
Yes.
But that's the way that we grew up. We grew up an episode a week.
I know.
So, but now it's just
everything's just much faster paced.
Instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you guys have both been in what? Zeo, Turbo, and Mighty Morphin? All 3 of them?
She's been in all 3. I stepped foot in Mighty Morphin. I was in the last episode of Mighty Morphin, but I never put on the yellow suit in Mighty Morphin.
Okay.
And I was in Zeo and Turbo.
So Zeo and Turbo then. Which one was your favorite as far as like the shoot? What did you have? Did you have more fun? Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was a better season? Both of you.
Darling, I enjoyed them both for different reasons. Zeo, because I felt like my character had more storylines. You could probably answer this for me because I said it. But, I felt like in Zeo, I was a new character. They explored my character a little bit more. I had more storylines. So I really loved that. Turbo, I loved that we got to fight because in Zeo, our stuntmen did everything.
Oh, okay.
Turbo, you would see us fighting in civilian clothes, and that was the most fun. When we were preparing for the movie, we had 6 weeks of fight training. I mean, all of the guys are black belts in, different karate, in jiu-jitsu and all of that stuff. They're amazing.
They are.
But it was so much fun, the fight stunt training for the 6 weeks, and then the fighting in the movie, and then the fighting in Turbo. That was so much fun for me. I could do that all day, every day. So that's what I loved about Turbo.
For me, I think Zeo had really great storylines. I loved I was evil on Mighty Morphin when I came onto the show, so I really enjoyed being evil before I became good. I really liked that.
Everyone loves to be the heel.
Yeah, it's fun to be bad. And then the Turbo, same thing. I really enjoyed that we got to do civilian fighting because they took all of that away in Zeo. We were doing so many PSAs towards the end of Mighty Morphin because kids were hitting each other and hurting each other at school. We don't hit people, just aliens.
Yes.
And so we didn't get to do any of that in Turbo, and in Zeo, so it was kind of a bummer. But we had really good writers in Zeo, I think. In Turbo, that kind of shifted. So,
Turbo is where they start removing the whole cast. Like we were the last cast that was there for, I think, longevity. Yeah. And then after we left, they start replacing the cast like every season or every other season or something like that.
Every season, yeah. So the people that replaced us on Turbo did In Space. So I think they did like 10 episodes of Turbo and then went into space. And then after that, it was every season was different cast.
Yeah. I wonder why they decided to do that. Why would they? I mean, it was working, it seemed like.
Because people kept leaving. Like people, if you only have people for a certain amount of time, they are contracted and they're not going to ask for more. And I just think they just wanted to keep rotating it out because then the cast doesn't get too big for their boots and ask for more, and people don't get attached to them. And
what a lot of people don't know is Power Rangers is non-union.
Oh, okay.
So non-union, what non-union can do? They can work you until you spit blood.
Yeah. I'm a union guy, so.
Yeah. So it was
our first Gary till he spits blood.
We worked our butts off, and we could tell stories about turnaround times for the movie. We'd finish at 3:00 in the morning and have to be back on set at 6. 3 hours of rest, and they're not paying for a hotel. Like there's some really outlandish things that you could hear about. So to be perfectly honest, there were a lot of actors that were not happy with the pay. And I remember when we were on the show, Friends was negotiating $1 million contract. We weren't even making a
per episode
to that. So, you know, I think it was fair for the actors to ask for a bump. Like, how could they not? I mean,
when they saw like, you know, Saban is making millions of dollars off their faces, billions faces, and their likeness was signed all away. I mean, to this day, they still. I mean, I just had a toy come out. They use my face, and I can't do anything about that. I don't get anything for it. I had to buy the toys myself.
You guys don't get anything comped at all? No.
So, you know, these actors were working. I mean, the first actors did all their own stunts in the very beginning too. So they were working 16-hour days, then doing live appearances, and they just wanted what was fair, and it wasn't in the cards for them. So they just got rid of them like that and replaced them.
Yeah.
So,
and that kind of set precedents for the rest of the seasons. Like, if you ask for something, then you're out.
Yeah, because I saw that even though people were upset that the first 3 actors had left, they embraced the new ones quite quickly. So that showed, oh, well, they weren't that attached. Clearly, we were able to just replace them. So, yeah. So it's kind of brutal.
That's interesting. I didn't know. I just assumed that Hollywood movies and Hollywood TV series, they were all union. I didn't know that they were actually non-union, especially some of that caliber of success.
Right.
No, you know, actually, when we were on the show, right when we left the show, the union came in and forced Saban to become union. So after we left, the next season was union for a hot minute. And then Disney bought, and so they were still union up into Time Force. Mm-hmm. So that was like 2007.
Yeah, so it was like In Space, Lost Galaxy, Wild Time Force. So 3 seasons after we left was union, but it was a modified union contract. They didn't get anything for merchandising. No. They just got a little bit more pay, and they did get residuals, but it was still very minimal, like bottom of the barrel SAG contract.
And then Saban bought it back, and they became non-union again, and they moved them to New Zealand, and that's where they film now, and they're still non-union.
So they don't shoot in Hollywood then?
No.
Okay.
It's all in New Zealand. And, you know, they're very smart. They choose up and coming actors most of the people, it's their first job.
Yeah.
And so they don't really know, like, they don't know any better. It's like, I remember the first SAG job I did after Power Rangers, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is really nice. Like, I have a trailer.
Yes. I was like, there's hours? I could leave after 6 and still paid for it was crazy.
And
food. Yeah.
I actually got food.
the most important thing.
Yes. And someone brought me water. Oh wow. Like, it's like our expectations were so low.
Yeah. But, you know, I know that we've said some negative things about Power Rangers, but we have to also say that we wouldn't have Power Rangers playback if we didn't have the experience on Power Rangers. We wouldn't have Super Chat. We wouldn't have the fandom that we have. So, you know, there were a lot of negatives, but I feel like the convention world has become our residuals because we don't get residuals for, even with it being on Netflix, nothing, no red cent, nothing.
You don't get one of them 12-cent checks every once in a while or nothing like that?
You know what? I did get like $1.15. Because I think what they did was they used my voice on one of those 3 seasons that was union.
Yeah.
I probably made about $10.
Woo!
Yes.
Hold the phone.
I'm making it, y'all.
I actually make residuals because I did a few monster voices for them after I left. Like, Scott our ADR director had called me in to do some voices, and so I laugh because I get little, like, they're not very much, like $5 here and that, but it's still, I get residuals from that, but not from being a ranger.
That's crazy. You get more money for making a monster sound than you do for being a cat for years.
Bizarre.
But, you know, we've both been blessed to do work since Power Rangers, and the interesting thing is that most people, no matter what you do after Power Rangers,
they don't care.
Always comes back to Power Rangers. I mean,
they're always going to be
She worked with Vincent D'Onofrio and Jennifer Lopez. She was in The Cell. And
no one cares.
Yeah,
I brought pictures from that, and I think I've sold 2 in the whole 9 years of being on the convention scene. No one. There's some. I've had probably 5 people ask about, like, oh, what was it like working in The Cell? And it's so funny because that was such a huge thing, and it's a cult film. No one could give a crap about that.
Well, so Kat, what was it like working on The Cell?
Funny you should ask. I get asked that all the time. No, it was an amazing SAG movie. It was an amazing experience. I loved every second of it. It was amazing. I loved the director. I got to work with Vincent D'Onofrio and Vince Vaughn and J-Lo, and yeah, it was a very exciting time. Yeah.
Well, I'm hogging you guys. Come on, Terry. What?
Oh no, I'm just enjoying it. You guys have a great chemistry. You know, you two together. Yeah, maybe we should turn our show over to them. They can do
right. They didn't know what they were getting into.
Your audience, they can come and share the love with us. We'll just
I sent these links to them. They're like, no expectations. I don't think they quite understood how low of expectations, that we actually have. We don't rehearse. We don't, do any kind of like research. We don't
like it
very well, obviously. So
we like it to be more natural and organic and let the conversation flow.
That's our gimmick anyways, organic.
Organic.
And sometimes Gary will turn heel on me. So
always good to be the bad guy, right, Kat?
Yeah.
But speaking of Kat, your accent's a little different. So you're not from this, you're Australian, right?
Yes.
So how did an Australian girl become a Power Ranger?
I actually auditioned in Australia. So they had filmed the first movie in Australia, and Amy Jo had expressed interest in leaving. She wanted to move on and do more things with her career. And so they auditioned in America, and I don't know why, with the millions of girls in America, why they felt like they couldn't find someone, but they decided they wanted to maybe bring in an international flavor to the show. So the producers loved Australia, so they came back, and I just auditioned. I didn't know what Power Rangers was. All I knew was that it was a children's show that was going to be filming in Hollywood, which I was like, oh my gosh, what an amazing opportunity to get to go to Hollywood, And I did 3 auditions, and the final one was with the producer. And about 3 weeks later, the casting director called me to tell me I was the one. So, Amy Jo, maybe it was that they wanted someone really opposite of Amy Jo. We couldn't be on further ends of the spectrum. She's tiny little gymnast. She comes up to about here on me. She's dark hair. I'm blonde. I'm Australian. She's American. Her character was very Valley Girl, bubbly kind of character, and my character was more serene, motherly, nurturing kind of character. So I think maybe because she was so popular, they were hoping to go with something a little different to help people accept it, because the Pink Ranger was very popular.
Yeah, that's the iconic Ranger. You would think pink and red, and it's just it's pretty cool. And what about you, Nakia? What got you into the Power Rangers? Were you guys both aspiring actresses before this, or was this like this the first thing you did, or?
I have been acting since I was 5 years old in my mother and dad's living room.
You prepared your whole life for this.
You better share the Underoos story.
I do. I used to run around. Do you guys remember what Underoos are? Did you have?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I used to have my Wonder Woman underoos on, and I would have a belt, and I was Wonder Woman, and I would swing it around and hit my brothers with it. But I used to watch the Carol Burnett show and Red Fox, his show, and I just loved comedy. And so I would put up skits inside of my living room. I'd force my brother to be a part of it. And I just started performing when I was little. Wasn't getting paid for it. So when I auditioned for Power Rangers, I was a junior at UCLA in the film in the School of Film, Television, and Theater. And I get this audition. I did not know.
Hold on. I'll brag for her because she's not going to tell you. She was the only African-American female freshman accepted that year. And there was a lot of people that auditioned. And how many? There was 50 kids
Only 50 accepted.
And she was one of them.
That's pretty awesome.
Just keep going.
So I didn't know what Power Rangers was. I just knew that it was an audition, and I wanted to do film and television. Like, that's what I wanted to do. And so I didn't know I was replacing anyone. They told me to wear yellow. I learned my lines. I remember going there.
Did you have yellow, or did you have to go and buy something?
I had to go buy a t-shirt. Yeah. I had to go buy a yellow t-shirt.
That people really
I remember the t-shirt, and I remember the jeans that I wore too. That is so funny. I remember my audition. I remember going inside of the room with Julie Ashton, and I remember there was a television standing on the side. She was sitting on the couch over here, and I was standing right here facing her. And I remember for this audition, I gotten to the point where I was like, I'm just done, because I was putting too much energy into each audition that I was like, I'm just going to go in, I'm going to do what I need to do, and then I'm going to literally throw my sides, my script behind me, and I'm going to take off afterward. And that's exactly what I did. I did the audition. I got into my car, my little Honda Prelude, 1993 Honda Prelude, threw my sides behind me, and I took off, and I didn't think about it anymore. And then a couple weeks later, I get a call back, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I go to the call back, and then I get another call back, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then the nervousness started happening. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I could be a series regular. What does that mean? And then I had 5 auditions, and my screen test, like Kat said, I met her, and I remember sitting inside of the lobby with the other 2 girls. One of them had been on the show before, so she thought she would intimidate me by saying how she had been on the show, and she knew Karen Ashley, who was the Yellow Ranger before me, and how the producers liked her. And I just remember looking at her like, I don't give a damn. Like, you want a cookie? For real. Seriously. I remember just looking at her just like, because it was down to the 2 of us for the final interview. And I just decided to go in there and just to be confident with my final interview with him. And I told him to make the right choice, because he was telling me that, Amy, he asked me what my birthday was. Shiki Levy had asked me what my birthday was, and I was like, October 21st. He was like, oh, yeah, but lots of October birthdays. Catherine's birthday is in October. Amy Jo's birthday is in October. I said, then you need to just hire another October birthday. And he did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
So you got the job because you were born in October.
That's it. That's it.
Not about talent.
Not at all.
Nothing about how great you were. Just
just because it was October 21st. That's it.
You know what's funny about her is that she's talking about her as a kid and everything, and how she watched Carol Burnett show, but Nakia loves reality TV shows, and she's a total, like, everywhere we go she watches people and she creates all these characters, and she loves to you have to come up with a nickname for them. She loves to give people nicknames. Do you know what she calls me, her best friend? Chicken lips.
Chicken lips.
Or pickle knees. That's the most recent one.
Oh, those are so endearing.
So what would you like to name these gentlemen, Nakia?
I'm kind of scared. I know. So
yeah,
maybe you can just name Terry. Yeah, we'll name Terry.
That's all right. I've
been, she's just
I got to hear one now.
She's feeling the pressure now.
Yes.
Well, if you think of one by the end of the interview, go ahead and shout it out. So.
She's got one. She doesn't want to say it.
Well, no, because my friends and family, they all know that it's a term of endearment. So
you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, if I'm like porcupine knuckles and stuff like that, you just have to know that it's love. It's not because you look like a porcupine or your knuckles or anything. So yeah.
Well, I'll be offended now if I don't get a nickname by the end of the show.
She'll come up with one. Don't you worry.
Oh, I know. But so you guys, what else you guys have going on right now? I know you got the shows, which hopefully will get back going, strong pretty soon. And then you got the podcast, the YouTube channel. Anything else going on right now?
Well, I have a role on a Nickelodeon show called Danger Force. I play Angela Macklin, which happens to be the mother of 2 superhero kids.
Yeah.
How fantastic.
Circle.
Yes, full circle. So I have a recurring role on there. It's their first season. They actually should be wrapping, I think, this week. But it's a lot of fun. The cast it's a spinoff from the show Henry Danger, which lasted for like 6 years. So there's 4 superheroes. 2 of them happen to be my children. They're fraternal twins. Of course, the parents don't know that the kids have superpowers. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's a comedy, of course, and I love comedy. So yeah, I've been doing that. Still doing commercials and other shows. I did a role on Sydney to the Max, which is a Disney show. Actually, these are the first Disney and Nickelodeon shows I've ever done.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. The only ones. I had tested for a Nickelodeon show a couple years back, but those are the only shows that most of the other shows that I've done have been like, on CBS or ABC or Netflix, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's ironic. We have a couple of things that we're working on which we can't share yet. But yes, there's definitely some things that we've been hard at work with and are excited to share when we can. But right now
they have to manifest. They have to.
Yes.
You speak too soon about it, and then it just.
Right.
No one jinx
Yeah.
Right. Now, I've got a couple questions. Now, a lot of people they get upset if if you're from Australia and then they go, "Oh, are you from England?" Do you get upset or no?
New Zealanders do that a lot. New Zealanders stand to be called Australian, which I don't understand. They just think we're beneath them or something. I don't. I think people think I'm either South African or English because I've been here for 26 years now, so my accent has changed a lot over the years. But no, I'm not offended at all. I mean, it's hard to tell with some people. So yeah,
sometimes people
someone says I'm English, I actually say, "Oh, thank you." I kind of pop.
I would just roll with it. I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm from Sydney, England." See if they figure it out. So, and then is this a myth? But I heard because it's a lower hemisphere, the toilet water goes counterclockwise down there.
That's a myth.
What's that?
Went straight down. It didn't do any swishy thing. It just sucked down.
Really?
Yeah. But we've always had, Australia's very earth conscious. So we've always had like the half flush and the full flush.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes. But no, it doesn't go the opposite way. That's
okay. Now I have a question for you guys.
No pet kangaroos or koalas.
No shrimps on the Barbie. None of that.
Shrimps on the Barbie, yes.
Shrimps on the Barbie. Okay.
Prawns. We don't call them shrimp. We call them prawns.
So So where did shrimps on the Barbie come from then?
America.
Oh,
you guys in
Americans.
With the Foster's commercials.
So you guys are good friends, and you've been to each other's houses and stuff before, right? Yes. I have a question for you. If you to come to, say, Nakia or Kat would come to each other's house, and you saw that the toilet paper was under, would you change the roll to over?
Oh wow.
No.
No. Okay.
Roll with it as long as it works and it comes out.
You know what I do?
Okay.
I do this is if I'm at someone's house and you rip the toilet paper and it's jagged, I'll take that piece off so it's straight.
Okay, but you wouldn't just take it off and change it to under or to over instead of under. Okay.
That's a little.
You hear that, Terry?
You do that? Do you do that, Gary?
I did that at Gary's house. Thanks for calling me out, Gary.
Took my wife an hour to figure out how to use the toilet paper.
Toilet paper Gary. Toilet paper Terry.
That's his name.
Toilet paper Terry.
TP Gary. TPG.
Thank you.
I love it. The real TPG.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you a little OCD?
A little bit. Yeah. I've got some quirks, but it doesn't control my life or whatever. Like in the morning, I always got to get up and make the bed first thing. Usually that's not because I don't like them. I like a clean or nicely made bed when I jump in at night. But it also teaches me discipline. If I start my day out with discipline, I'm more disciplined to eat better and go to the gym. And, I do love my lawn. So I'll I don't cut my grass anymore, but I'll water it. I'll fertilize it. I'll grass seed, all that stuff. So
very nice lawn.
There was a military speech I heard. This man was speaking about things to make you successful here at a college. I can't remember what his name was, but what was one of the things he talked about is every day when you get out of bed, you should make your bed, because it sets you are starting your day productively, and it's helping you have order when you make your bed. Like things are in order, and it makes your mind think that you can function better or something. I thought that was interesting.
Ooh, that's cool.
A whole list of stuff like that. Yeah.
Well,
I can't do that. My wife would get mad because she's still sleeping.
Oh, you're making the bed while she's in it.
Just pulling the covers out, tucking her in.
I did a speech before a wrestling show, and it was a small independent wrestling show. And I finished off with telling everybody to make their own beds, right? And so the next day they started Facebooking me messages
I'm so
of their
sorry.
bed made.
I had a visual of Gary tucking his wife in while she's still sleeping. I'm sorry. Go on.
Hey,
Trying to kill me?
right.
That's hilarious.
No, but
Okay.
anyway, they started sending me pictures of their beds made, and then they put my action figure on the bed, or like a replica title. One guy, his cat was on the bed cleaning itself, and he took a picture of it.
Oh, that's funny. Your figure there.
Yeah, it was actually pretty funny. So.
Well, it's getting close to our quitting time. We're a union shop here. We don't work past 5, so. But we definitely loved having you on. You know we love you, Nakia. We loved having you to Monroe, and it was great meeting you, Kat. And you guys got to let us know where you can be found. Let the fans know what's your social media links and everything like that.
On Instagram, it's Nakia Burrise, Catherine_Sutherland, or Power Rangers Playback. So there's 3 places to find us.
Yeah.
Same on Facebook, and we have a Twitter account, which is Power Playback. What else? TikTok now. We're
on
TikTok.
Oh my
We're like
goodness.
5 days.
Yeah.
TikTok.
We're so excited. TikTok's a whole
Another
world.
animal.
Oh my gosh, it's really weird what people like on TikTok. But anyways, we do have TikTok. My daughter is educating us on how to use TikTok, and I say, "What? Oh, should I do this?" She goes, "No, lame. Don't do that." So yes, we have TikTok, which is Power Rangers Playback. We have
YouTube.
our YouTube channel.
Power Rangers Playback.
We have Patreon,
Power Rangers Playback.
and we have
YouTube. You can join our team. We have a Patreon account, and we also have a YouTube account, which is Power Rangers Playback. So,
yes.
and we have
and then
different
our podcast, of course, which is
Super Chat.
with Kat and Nakia.
That's
How come
great.
We don't talk like that.
We need to practice something.
I know,
like
right?
that.
It's so unprofessional.
Right. Great chemistry.
Song, a dance, everything. You know.
Yeah, I did want to see the dance, your happy dance, but I don't know your
It
happy
goes
chat
like
dance.
this. If you put in a super chat in YouTube, we go like this. Oh, Gary,
Super chat. Raise it up high.
yeah.
We're gonna steal some of this stuff, Terry.
Right.
Come on, give us a sample.
I don't know what to say, but yay!
Raise it up high, Gary. Come
Oh,
on.
pie! Woo,
There you go.
man.
So we have Tuck in Gary, because you tuck in your wife,
Fucking
Yeah.
Gary.
and we have
TPG.
toilet TP Gary. I mean Terry. Yes.
He said TPG.
TPG.
The real TPG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was TPG.
Oh,
Oh
I'm saying
man,
people Terry.
toilet paper Terry. Yeah, that's definitely toilet paper Terry.
Terry.
okay.
I'll
So
take that.
Yeah. Tuck in Gary,
Tuck in Gary.
because that visual of him making the bed with
I've been
his
called a lot. I've been called a lot worse. So
I assure you, nobody will use a T when it comes to Tuck and
Listen,
Gary.
I've been called a lot worse. That's going to be a lot of confusion. A lot of confusion with the fucking Gary.
Gary's wife, and I could see it. Oh my gosh, I could see her being like, "What in the heck?"
Yeah, that's where I got that eye from. But that was, like I said, it was wonderful having you guys on. You guys are great together. So keep it up. Good luck, Terry.
Yes, thank you once again. You guys got great chemistry. So.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
One day we hope our friendship evolves into something like that.
It won't, Gary.
It won't.
Gary built it for it.
Not if you don't stop touching my toilet paper.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Many
you. We love
blessings.
having you. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, guys. Tune in next week. We got pro wrestler Zach Gowan, and we appreciate you guys stopping by. Make sure if you like our content, subscribe, like, share, download, etc. Do all that stuff on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I don't know, TikTok for Terry.
Right.
But all right, we're out.
Easy.
Thanks a lot.
Easy, tuck in, Gary.
Hey, TPT,
Right.
toilet paper Terry.
I kind of like toilet
I
paper.
know
Terry.
you got the better name.
Right. I actually did.
Good.
Was it tuck job, Gary, or tuck in, Gary?
Tuck in Gary.
Oh,
Could
okay.
be confused a lot, I think.
Right.
I think Dave's right. All right, we're out of here. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.